Music is about songs, and it's about songwriters, people with stories to tell and the gift to make us believers. This week's guest is Cleveland singer-songwriter Zach. Words and music, because if we believe the singer, we'll believe the song. In just a few years since he started writing and performing his own music, Zach has earned accolades like Best Acoustic Act, Best Overall Band, and the one to watch on the local scene. He's had his music performed on MTV's Real World, and he's winning fans everywhere he plays. This guy's on a roll. Zach, welcome to Words and Music.
Thank you very much for having me.
So how long have you been playing and singing and writing?
About 4 years. This is going on the end of my 4th year, beginning of my 5th.
Wow. So you've come quite a ways. I mean, right out of the box, you were writing songs and performing?
Yeah, pretty much. I got a guitar around Christmas time, and I think my first gig was around the very beginning of summer.
So are you old enough to drink yet?
Yeah, I just turned 22.
Okay, just wondering. What made you get into the guitar?
The guitar, pretty much, I just, for some reason, started really getting into music. I used to play basketball when I was in high school, and I had a real bad appendicitis illness thing that put me in the hospital. I almost died from it.
Whoa.
And when I got out of the hospital, I just all of a sudden started getting into music. I got cut from the team because, you know, I wasn't healthy enough to play or whatever. So I just really started getting into music and started, you know, trying to play guitar and singing the songs on the radio, and then all of a sudden I just started writing songs and performing.
Any of the early songs you still perform?
A few. The one that's on the Real World, Chase Me Away, was one of the first few songs that I wrote.
Oh, wow. So you really had some good success right out of the box.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. I guess you could say that.
Now you got to live up to it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, and songwriting, once you start, you really can't stop. I've been doing it for, 35 years, you know, writing songs, and
Totally.
basically it's your life, so
Oh, yeah.
you're going to find lots of changes, Have you noticed anything about your writing style changing from, like, when you first started all of 4 years ago to kind of what you're writing last week?
Well, it's definitely maturing. I think it's a little bit more band-oriented than it was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try and push myself to write different styles of music and different kinds of music. I don't really want to be one of those bands where every song on the CD sounds like the same.
Same, right.
So I try and kind of change it up a little bit.
Well, do you perform different songs when you play acoustically and by yourself to when you're in the band, or what's the change?
There's
there?
a little bit. There's a few songs that when we do a big electric show that we don't play acoustically, and there's a few songs that I play by myself that I don't usually play with the band. But
do you notice that when you're playing in a club with a bunch of sweaty fans who want to dance, you can't pull off some of the slow ones that you would?
yeah, it's
in the
definitely
coffee
harder to
house?
do some of the ballads in the bar scenes or those kind of places.
You guys play live as a trio,
Yeah.
and you have a lot of textures going because you're kind of fooling around with pedals and things like that, not as real gimmicks, but more just as a textured type of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting. It's pretty full sound for a trio.
Thank you.
You're pretty fortunate to be able to have a really good band. Who are those guys?
Well, the drummer is Al Ladon, and the bass player is Tony Griffin, and we've been playing as a band together since January, so 8-9 months.
Oh,
Like that.
okay. So you played a ton of shows then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we've played about 122 this year so far.
So how many songs in the band book so far?
There's over 50, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you're writing all the time then?
All the time. Just about every day.
Did you write anything before you came down here?
No, but I was working on an idea in the car, so.
Okay, that's great. Well, speaking of ideas, what really flashes to have you set up? Let's just talk about the idea in the car. Okay, so you're coming down to the TV studio to shoot this thing. What happened?
You know, I don't really know, but there's something about Tri-C. I took a couple years at the Parma campus,
Okay.
and it seemed like I was always really inspired on the drive to and from school, which it's not like a pretty drive. It was right on Sprague Road, and there's nothing really there that's like really awe-inspiring, but I was always writing songs to and from school. And some, you know, the ones on the CD, a lot of them were written to and from school, and here I come down to Tri-C and I have an idea starting, so.
So what's the idea about?
Well, there was a
That may or
partial,
may ever come to anything, right?
yeah, there was a partial song that I had a beginning to but never finished, and it's a song that I was calling Amphibian. And it's kind of about people being able to change and adapt to whatever, you know, comes to them and whatever their life sort of throws at them.
Do you notice any kind of common themes in your songs?
They're all pretty much hopeful and, you know, trying to look on the good side of things, I guess.
So your cup is more than half full?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Well, let's, I'm going to go through just a couple of song titles and just tell me immediately the first thing that comes to your mind of what the song's about.
Sure,
okay?
sure.
A Beautiful Possession, which of course is the title.
Yes, it is. That was one of the ones that I wrote coming back from Tri-C.
I like this Tri-C stuff, the smart TV stuff.
Yeah, well, I had an early day, and it was one of the days that our class was canceled or something, and I had a really early day, which I was really happy about. It was just a beautiful day, and there was someone in one of my classes that I was starting to kind of become friends with, so it was just a really good day for me, and all of a sudden I was driving down the road and started humming, and out came A Beautiful Possession, so I ran home and picked up my guitar and finished it all out.
Cool. Distracted?
Distracted's a rare one because I put that one all in the 4 minutes or whatever, however long the song is. I was doing a sound check at a coffee shop, and it was this little coffee shop, and there was like nobody there. It was like the middle of summer, and it was like 150 degrees outside, and they had me outside on this little patio, which happened to be in the parking lot, which happened to be like 20 feet off the street. So all these cars are driving by, and dust is going everywhere.
And it's a million degrees.
And it's a million degrees, and I was just strumming my guitar, trying to get my levels going, and the whole song just came out right then and there.
So do you find that you do a lot of more purge writing, where a lot of things come at once?
I think so. Most of the songs that I write pretty much come out fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have too many songs that take too long to develop, and usually if it takes too long, I usually kind of put it aside and don't try and do anything with it until maybe sometime later.
Do you do any, once it's pretty much there and on the page, or however you are capturing it before you start playing it, do you do much editing?
Not a whole lot to it. A little bit, just to kind of, usually when I write a song, it starts off a lot longer than it ends up being, but there's just a lot of like dead space that I take out of it, or stuff that I feel could, you know, make the song a little bit more powerful if you take some different things out, but there's not a whole lot of editing to it. It's pretty much how it is.
So not too many lyrical skeletons in the closet that you wouldn't want anyone to see?
Not too many, actually, surprisingly.
What about Liar? See, I'm trying to get some, you know, some dark stuff going here.
Well, yeah, Liar, I guess, is one of the darker songs, just because it's about liars and being lied to. And but I still try and take it on.
Do people do that?
Occasionally.
How dare they?
I know, it's terrible. But yeah, that one, just a certain few people that I knew at the time that I was writing that song tended to be lying a little bit to me, and it just seemed like a few people at the time, and it's, you know, when a few people are doing it, it seems like it's all the time, you know, so it just was an emotion I had to get out. But it was interesting because the first time we ever played that song live with my band was the night that we started war with Iraq, and so it turned on like this whole different vibe after that. It was really weird because they had the TVs on, and like right as we start the song, like the breaking news came through, and it was just a really weird kind of vibe that hit after that.
Wow. Okay, so, but do people get the messages?
I think so.
I mean, like on a literal level, or are they looking for hidden meanings or anything like that? Are there hidden meanings?
Well, I'm sure there's always a few hidden meanings you could dig up if you wanted to, but yeah, I think people are getting it. A lot of people have been commenting about the lyrics and the, you know, it's been making their day better and all this kind of stuff. A lot of people have come out saying, I had this terrible day today, but I listened to you and I'm totally forgot about it, and, you know, I'm really happy now and enjoying, you know, the day. So that's always a nice thing to hear.
Well, as a songwriter, that's probably one of the ultimate compliments you could have.
I think so. I like it.
Okay, let's actually kind of get into your song Sweet Bird.
Okay.
What is it about? How did you come up with it? And what happened first?
Well, Sweet Bird was a song. It was another one of the first probably 15, 20 songs that I wrote. And I worked in a music shop for probably 6 or 8 months, and I had the opportunity of working with a guitar player named Frank Romano, who's been around the Cleveland scene for a while. And
he's been to my studio before.
Yeah, well, we worked in the same shop for a little while, and I met him through some other things. And immediately we just started, you know, writing and kind of doing some different jamming things, and I learned a lot of stuff from him.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Oh, he is. Sweetbird was one of the songs that, one of the first few days we were there, was a really great opportunity to work at the music shop, but no one ever came in, so it was like 8 hours of just jamming and playing guitar, and they had a drum set at the time, so trying to do all these different things. You know, we didn't have to really worry about the sales side of things at all, which is good and bad, I guess, but...
if you're the owner, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was, Sweetbird was a song that we started jamming a little bit to, and he had the initial little riff, which I couldn't actually play, so what Sweetbird is now is kind of my version of trying to figure out how to play what he was doing. And
so what's it about?
A song that, it's just about, you know, moving on to bigger and better things and trying to, you know, constantly keep yourself focused on really what you want to be and what you want to do. And that's pretty much what I wrote it about.
Well, could you play it for us?
I'd love to.
Sweetbird.
Broken sign and a broken window, I know just how it feels. The wind breaks just for a second, and in this I see your eyes.
A loss of thought is your disease, and everyone needs to be free. People without chains on their anger, and people without words that hold them down. It's the healing way. Fly on, sweet bird, do as you learn. Fly on, sweet bird, do as you learn, and be free. Oh, 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 oh. Just to think about her can send me so far away, and it's so good to leave here sometime. It's so hard for me to stay. It's the healing way. Fly on, sweet bird, do as you learn. Fly on, sweet bird, do as you learn, and be free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
you're in Cleveland, ready for a career. But how do you get there? From here. Easy. Go to Tri-C. You can aim toward one direction, maybe nursing, and maybe you'll discover something else. Like pharmacy tech or respiratory care. How about massotherapy? Tons of possibilities, and that's just healthcare. Hey, I'd go to Tri-C. I know it would. Tri-C is your community college. Take a class.
Tell me about the music business and how you're approaching the business, because, you know, you've gotten all this and best of that, and, you know, stuff that could make your head kind of like, you know, expand quite a bit. How are you using it, or are you using it to further your career?
Oh, we're definitely using everything we can to further the career. We're pretty much just trying to get as much stuff going as possible and kind of get as many fires going, I guess, as you can possibly do. And you know, things start to happen when you get more and more things going on. And anytime we can get a review somewhere, or we can get any kind of advertising or promotion or something, we always tend to do it. And I'm always out performing, so that's a big part of what we're doing too, performing and getting music out, and it's being spun on a lot of different radio stations. And we've kind of gotten the Cleveland-Akron area the last 3 or 4 years, and we're starting to expand out and get all over the country. And I know with the internet and everything, we've had a lot of international listeners and people buying CDs from like Australia and Switzerland and Sweden, and Denmark, I think.
Well, actually, the website is, you know, I was actually on your website, and I've noticed that you're 25,000 hits a month.
Yeah,
That's
we're up
phenomenal.
to about 25,000 a month.
So what is the, quote, Zach management regime or team? Who's the we behind the
Well,
Zach?
there's pretty much myself, and then my father is also my manager.
Okay.
So we do a lot of stuff, and we've got people that we've been working with, but that's pretty much the core of the team.
Well, it's good to have the home front support of that.
It is it's wonderful to have the support.
Does the manager go on the road with the band, or what? How does that work?
So far he has, because we haven't been doing too much extended, but I'm sure once we get, you know, out for 300 days of the year, it'll be somewhat different, I'm sure.
Right. Well, you know, somebody will have to be home counting the money, you know?
It definitely.
Well, I noticed that actually we were talking between the break, and you were saying that you're starting to hit New York City, which, of course, for a singer-songwriter is the nirvana, you know, the sacred land.
It is.
Where there's a guy over there, you know, up in the poster behind us, Bob Dylan. He got his big start there,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So how are you doing that? How have you gotten the gigs?
Actually, we pretty much got the gigs at the beginning through luck. I was up there a couple months ago visiting some relatives we have in New Jersey, and we went up to New York City because I was there one time before doing a showcase for a couple different record labels, and I just love the city. It's just something that, you know, pulses through your veins once you're there.
Right.
So any chance I have, I want to go. So we had a chance to go up, and we were dropping off demos to all the different clubs, and we happened to walk into Kenny's Castaway. It was the first club we walked into, and then they happened to have a cancellation like 2 minutes before we walked in, so I ended up getting a gig there.
Oh, that was really fortunate.
It was, and they loved it, and the place got packed from people coming in and enjoying themselves and enjoying the music, and so they were so excited about it, they booked me back, and the word went out around all the other places, and some of the other places we'd sent demos to started calling us back, and we ended up getting 2 or 3 shows out of that, and we had a record exec invite me up to do a songwriter show at the bitter end, so
that's cool.
Pretty much how I got those couple gigs.
What else is going on? Where are the sites set?
The sites are everywhere. We're trying to get out as much as we can. I know we're doing New York City soon. We're going to be going to North Carolina and Florida. I did about a 6-week tour in Florida last year, so we're going to be going back. We're going to be going back to New York again probably before the end of the year, and just keep moving on and moving out and everywhere.
And the guys in the band want to do this too?
Oh, definitely. They're all in it full time, and I'm in it full time, so.
Very cool.
Definitely. It's the best way to have it, really.
Let's go back to the music, which is really the stuff that fuels everything. When you bring a song into the band, what happens? And what are do you have preconceptions of how they're going to play and what they're going to do?
Sometimes I do. A lot of times I tend to kind of let them do their own thing on like the drums and the bass. I don't usually, it all depends on the song, but more often than not, I pretty much have the basic arrangement, the melody, the words, the chord progressions down, and they kind of put their little pieces to it. Sometimes there's something that I'm hearing that we try and work out. And
Any surprises that you know the drummer might come up with a different groove or something? And
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. They've done that, and the bass player's done many different things, and he's added some keyboard sections to a couple songs that have really kind of flushed them out a little bit.
Okay. What about where the songs are going? I know you've gotten some good mileage out of A Beautiful Possession. What's happening next recording-wise?
We've got a ton of songs that are newer than the Beautiful Possession disc. Don't have any plans at the moment to go in and record, but I'm sure in the near future, at some point, there will be some sort of recording.
So are you going to continue to do the indie thing, or are you actually actively trying to shop?
We're actively shopping at the moment, and I have no problem with the indie or the major side of things. I just don't want to, if we go the major route, we're making sure that we're getting ourselves a good deal, or as good a deal as we can get. You know.
Right. The business, you know, it can make or break a band depending upon where you are.
And, it really can.
Well, and if, for the worst, you could write some good, you know, your songs might not be quite as happy.
Definitely, I could write some very good sad songs.
But really, what you've got is the fact that it's coming from you, and no matter if it's a band or whether it's a business, it's this music is your life, dude.
Oh yeah, definitely. Wouldn't have it any other way. Couldn't do anything else probably.
Well, let's talk about the next song, The Fade, right?
Yes, The Fade.
Okay, so what's the theme? What's the lyric content? What are we talking about here?
Well, basically, I sat down to write a blues song because I'd never really written a blues song, and it ended up not really being too bluesy, but it's kind of that whole vein, I guess, of just I tried to take some of the normal cliche kind of things and change them just a little bit so that it was a little bit more of, what I was trying to do with things and not to be cliched, I guess.
If it were a blues song, it really wouldn't fit with all the rest of the stuff you do anyway.
Right, right. I mean, it's my version, I guess, of
the filter, the Zach
somewhat
filter.
of a blues country kind of thing.
So what's it about?
Well, it's just about, again, kind of not letting go of who you are and your dreams, and a lot of times people tend to do. I think one of the saddest things, especially for an artist, is to see someone not use their talent and kind of let it go and kind of get away from it and go back into doing something they're not exactly 100% happy with. There's a lot of people that I know that have just, it's so sad to see them, be a really good musician or a really good, artist of some sort and just not fulfill it or not pursue it, to kind of put it down and go do something else, and they're not really, you can tell they're just not happy with what they're doing, as they would be doing music or whatever.
I hear you there. I'm not very happy, and my wife has said, you have to do things that you like, Tom,
I agree.
because, if you don't, you're not too happy to be around. So, I mean, that's really it. So what came first, the lyrical content or the chord progression, or how did that happen?
I think the chord progression came first, and then the lyrics came over top of that.
How about doing it?
I'd love to.
The Fade.
It's always a fun one to do.
Yeah, that's really bluesy.
I know. Son, don't you walk out. Son, don't you walk out on me. Son, don't you walk out. Son, don't you walk out on me. You gotta keep on shining for free. Babe, won't you listen? Babe, won't you listen to me? Babe, won't you listen? Babe, won't you listen to me? Has your brain been eaten in your sleep? Baby, baby, I guess it's just a phase. Baby, baby, I guess it's just a phase.
just a phase. Baby, baby, I guess it's just a phase. Baby, I ain't gonna leave you, I ain't gonna leave you alone. Baby, I ain't gonna leave you, I ain't gonna leave you alone. I may get tired, but I'm never growing old. Oh no. Baby, baby, I guess it's just a phase. Baby, baby, I guess it's just a phase. Here I go now, here I go now, I can't stop. Here I go now, here I go now, I can't stop. And I may get tired, but I will never drop. And I may get tired, but I will never drop. And I may get tired, but I will never drop.
Well, Zach, thanks for coming down to Words and Music, to our homey little set.
Thank you. I loved it. Thanks for having me.
Right.
It's been great.
And I really enjoyed getting to know you and learning more about your music and where your songs come from. And good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
I'm Tommy Wiggins, and you're watching Words and Music. We've been talking to Cleveland singer-songwriter Zach about how he makes his music. Tune in next week for more Words and Music.